I was born in Baltimore, Maryland, January the 17th, 1921. Things were tough. My mother raised 7 kids, and it was tough. It wasn't no easy life. And she did manage to put us through schools, put all of us through high school, you know, and of course that's about where all of us wound up at the end, graduated from high school. At that time, that's when the military was starting to build up. Glenelg Martin opened up. So I wound up getting a job at Glenelg Martin, you know, boom. Making big money, 40 cents an hour.
Though a career in the war industry provided him a temporary stay, the war came soon enough for Paul Wiedorfer when he was drafted into the Army in 1943. Months later, he was fighting his way through France and Belgium with the 80th Infantry.
I remember when finally we got on a truck and we're heading up to the front line, and we got told that we're heading up to the front line. I can remember the first body I seen laying in a field as we're driving. And this first one I seen was a German body, so a German got obviously killed. And it tightens you up, you know, the realization that all the talk that you heard, all the, the stuff you hear about war, it ain't nothing like when you first see it. And even seeing a dead body in a uniform, you start to realize, man, you are getting there, you know, you're close. This is combat.
By Christmas Day, 1944, Wiedorfer and his unit had made their way to Chaumont, Belgium, and into the midst of the Battle of the Bulge.
Of course, we were in a town called Chaumont, Belgium. We went out on an attack that morning, and we didn't get too far into the attack when machine guns started blasting in at it. When they started to fire, we were bogged down, man. We had about a company of men or better strung across there. Nobody could move, and nobody was moving. And then time started ticking by and by and by. And machine gun wouldn't let us move. And me, I started realizing, damn it, you got to do something here. Something's got to be done, because if we don't do something, I'm a dead man. And you start to realize that their mortars are going to start to come in, and when their mortars start coming in, they may miss with the first few, but then when they recite them, they move back or whatever way they have to go, they're going to come in on you. But for some reason, and I could never ever tell you just exactly why, subconsciously or whatever, I just jumped up and ran to try to get the machine gun. I knew they had to be wiped out. So I ran through the field. I slipped once. I remember that so clear, and the citation spells that out. And maybe that even saved me, maybe, because the machine gun started firing at me. I could see it. So I got up again, and I knew I had to still go about 15, 20, 30 more yards before I could lob a grenade, because I had a grenade out already. And I ran another 15, 20 yards, whatever it was, and I lobbed a grenade, and I was right smack in the hole. Of course, I heard a big boom, and I immediately jumped up and followed the grenade right into the hole.
Wiedorfer dispatched the 3 German gunners within, and then set off painstakingly toward another enemy position. Once there, he tossed in another grenade, killing 1 German and causing 6 others to surrender. Wiedorfer's actions freed his immobilized platoon and reunited them with the rest of their company.
January went by, February went by, and I was seeing combat through the Battle of the Bulge, all the way up to February the 10th, when a damn shell come in and blew my ass up in the air, and they put me in a hospital. So I'm laying in a hospital with a guy named Sergeant Major. He was a private, but his name was Sergeant Major. Laid in the hospital alongside of me. We're both up in tractions. I've got pictures in a scrapbook where a guy, he was a good sketcher, drawer. Me up in the weights on my leg and my hand, the cast, because I was shot through his hand too. Hand the cast, and I never will forget, he's written, all of a sudden he says something like, hey, he says, hey, spell your name. And I says, W-I-E, he says, oh, Tim, he says, what's your first name? And he said, he knew my first name, but he asked me what my first name was. And I said, Paul, come on now, Major, you know it. Paul. I said, Paul Wiedorfer. He says, oh, damn, I read this article in the paper. Medal of Honor man in the Stars and Stripes, awarded to the, Medal of Honor man receives Congressional Medal of Honor. That was how I knew I got it. Combat is a lot of fright, maybe, a lot of crazy mixed up excitement, chaos, and it's tough. It's scary. If anybody says it ain't, it is wrong. Believe me. Of course, some of my outfit said, "What'd you do it for?" And I couldn't answer. Could never answer. I did it basically, I think, for one thing. I was scared as hell, and I thought if I don't do something, I'm a dead man. I'm a dead man. I hate to say this, but I killed my share of Germans, and I'm not proud of that fact in the least. And that's what's sad about war. It's so much of that, so much of it. There's a thing in my scrapbook, and I say so honest, I think. It's got a caption of a GI sitting on a log, kind of sad, and the war's over, and it says, "How soon we forget." And it's so damn true. How soon we forget.